Taehyun sat in the back row of the Galactic Council chamber and watched the other species talk about things that did not matter. His chair was smaller than the others. It was made for humans, which meant it was made for species that the Council did not think were important. He had been Earth's ambassador for 7 years. Every day was the same. The tall blue aliens from Corvin Prime would speak first, then the floating gas creatures from the nested clouds, then others. Humans always spoke last. Sometimes the Council ended the meeting before Taehyun could speak at all. Today he waited 3 hours. His back hurt. The chair was not comfortable. Finally, the Council leader looked at him. "Does Earth have anything to add?" Taehyun stood. "Yes? I want to discuss the new trade route through Sector 7. Human colonies need access to." "Denied," said a Corvin representative. "That route is for established civilizations only." "Earth has been part of the Council for 150 years, Taehyun said carefully. He kept his voice calm. "Our colonies have over 3 billion people. We qualify as an established civilization." The Council chamber filled with sounds. Some species laughed. Others made clicking noises. The Corvin representative looked at Taehyun like he was a child who did not understand simple things. "You come from a death world," the Corvin said. "Your planet kills its own children with storms and diseases and predators. You only survive because you are too stubborn to die. That does not make you civilized." Taehyun felt heat in his chest. He wanted to say many things. He wanted to remind them that humans had invented the quantum medical scanner that saved millions of alien lives. He wanted to ask why human ships paid triple the docking fees of other species. He wanted to shout. Instead, he smiled. "I understand. Thank you for your consideration." He sat down. The meeting ended. Taehyun walked back to his small office and sent his daily report to Earth. Another day of being patient. Another day of building bridges that no one wanted to cross, across the galaxy. Captain Nari guided her cargo ship toward the docking bay of Station Kepler 22. The station traffic controller made her wait for 2 hours, even though the bay was empty. When she finally got permission to dock, 3 armed station guards were waiting. "Inspection," the lead guard said. He was a Vex, one of the species that controlled most of the trade routes in this sector. "Open all cargo holds." Nari had done this hundreds of times. "Of course. This way." The guards searched everything. They opened containers that were clearly labeled. They scanned items that had already been scanned twice. They found nothing wrong because there was nothing wrong. Nori ran a clean ship. She always followed every rule. After 3 hours, the lead guard finally nodded. "You can unload. Docking fee is 8,000 credits." 8,000? Nari's crew member Kyungmin stepped forward. "Last month it was 3,000. New fees for Deathworlder vessels," the guard said. "Contamination risk." Nari put a hand on Kyungmin's shoulder. She could feel his muscles tight with anger. "It's fine," she said quietly. "We'll pay." They paid. They always paid. It was easier than fighting. After the guards left, Kyungmin kicked a cargo container. "One day," he said. "One day we won't have to take this." "One day," Nari agreed. But she did not know when that day would come. On the colony world New Busan, Hyewan helped her mother plant crops in the red soil. The colony was small, only 5,000 people, but it was growing. Her family had been there for 3 generations. Her grandfather had built the first greenhouse. Her mother was now the colony leader. "Ships," her brother Dongmin called from the watchtower. Hyewan looked up. 3 ships came down from the sky. They were not human ships. They had the sharp angles and dark metal of Vex military vessels. Bo-Ra, Hyewan's mother, came out of the greenhouse. She did not look worried. "They're just passing through. This is neutral space." But the ships landed at the edge of the colony. Armed Vex soldiers came out. There were maybe 30 of them. They walked into the colony like they owned it. The lead soldier stopped in front of Bo-Ra. "This land is now claimed by the Vex Collective. You have 1 day to leave. This is a registered human colony," Bo-Ra said. "We have legal claim to this land." The Galactic Council, the soldier hit her. Bo-Ra fell to the ground. Hyewan ran to her mother, but another soldier grabbed her arm. His grip was strong enough to bruise. "The Council does not care about Deathworlders," the soldier said. "Leave or die." They left. The soldiers stayed and watched them pack. That night, the colony sent emergency messages to Earth and to the Galactic Council. They asked for help. They asked for protection. They asked for someone to enforce the laws that were supposed to keep them safe. Back on Earth in the Defense Ministry, Wu Jin read the message from New Busan. It was not the first message like this. In the past year, 7 human colonies had been raided. 2 had been destroyed completely. Every time, Wu Jin sent requests to the Galactic Council for protection. Every time the Council said it was an internal matter, or that they would investigate. Nothing ever happened. Wu Jin looked at the screen on his desk. It showed a map of human space. There were now 217 human colonies on different worlds. Each one had people like Hyewan and Bora. Each one was trying to build something good. Each one was alone when trouble came. He opened a file that was marked Top Secret. Inside were plans, ship designs, weapon specifications, training programs. For 150 years, humanity had been preparing for a day they hoped would never come. They had hidden military ships inside trade vessels. They had trained every colonist in basic combat. They had built defense stations that looked like mining platforms. Wu Jin had hoped they would never need these things. He had hoped that patience and diplomacy would be enough. He closed the file and sent another polite message to the Galactic Council, asking for help for New Busan. That night, Taehyun had dinner with other human diplomats. They talked about small victories. A trade agreement here, a cultural exchange there. They were all tired. They were all frustrated. But they all agreed on one thing. We have to be patient, Taehyun said. Earth survived because we learned when to fight and when to endure. Out here we endure, the others nodded. They believed it. They had to believe it. But in the back of Taehyun's mind, a small voice was asking a question. How much longer? How much longer could they smile while being insulted? How much longer could they pay unfair fees and follow rules that did not apply to other species? How much longer could they watch their colonies suffer while the galaxy looked away? Taehyun did not have an answer. Not yet. Across human space, the same question was growing louder. In the hearts of merchants tired of harassment. In the minds of colonists watching raiders destroy their homes. In the souls of diplomats swallowing pride every single day. How much longer? The galaxy would find out soon enough. The messages from New Busan stopped coming after 3 days. Bora sent one final transmission. Her face was bruised. Behind her, Hyewan could hear explosions. They are burning our farms, Bora said. They killed 17 people who refused to leave. My son Dongmin is dead. The Galactic Council has not responded to any of our requests. If anyone can hear this, please remember that we were here. We built something good here. The transmission ended. Wu Jin played it 5 times. Each time he felt something crack inside him. He sent another message to the Galactic Council. This one was not polite. He demanded action. He demanded that the Council send peacekeepers. He reminded them of every treaty and law that was being broken. The Council responded 3 days later. They would send observers to investigate. It would take 2 weeks to organize the mission. 2 weeks. Dongmin was already dead. How many more would die while the Council organized meetings? Wu Jin opened that secret file again. His finger hovered over a button that would activate emergency protocols. He closed the file. Not yet. They had to try the legal way first. They had to show that they had tried everything. At Station Kepler 22, Sunmi worked in her medical lab. She had spent 5 years developing a new treatment for cellular decay. The treatment worked. In tests, it had healed wounds that other medicine could not touch. It could save millions of lives across the galaxy. She was excited when she presented her research to the medical consortium. 15 species sent representatives. They watched her demonstration. A test subject with a damaged organ was healed completely in 2 days. The representatives talked among themselves. Finally, a Corvan doctor spoke. This treatment is too aggressive. It forces cells to regenerate at dangerous speeds. We cannot approve it. The speeds are not dangerous, Sunmi said. She showed them the data. I have tested it for 5 years. There are no negative side effects. The regeneration rate is actually slower than natural healing on Earth. Our bodies are used to... Exactly, the Corvan doctor interrupted. Your bodies are used to it. Your Deathworld bodies. This treatment is too dangerous for civilized species. They confiscated her research. They said it was for safety review. Sunmi protested. She filed complaints. Nothing happened. 2 months later, Sunmi saw a news report. A Corvan medical company had just released a revolutionary new treatment for cellular decay. The treatment was exactly like hers. Every detail was the same. Her 5 years of work, her breakthrough, now belonged to someone else. She sat in her lab and cried. Then she stopped crying and started making copies of all her research. She sent it to other human scientists. She sent it to human colonies. If the galaxy would not let humans share their discoveries, then humans would share with each other. Captain Nari's ship was 3 days from Station Kepler 22 when the Vex privateers found them. 5 ships surrounded the horizon's edge. They did not ask permission to board. They cut through the airlocks and came inside. Nari ordered her crew not to fight. They had cargo, not weapons. Fighting would only get them killed. The privateers took everything. Food supplies, medicine, trade goods, even personal belongings. The leader of the privateers saw Kyung Min wearing a family ring. He tried to take it. Kyung Min pulled his hand away. The privateer shot him. Not to kill, but to hurt. The blast hit Kyung Min's shoulder and burned through muscle and bone. He fell screaming. Deathworlders heal fast, don't they? The privateer said. He laughed. The other privateers laughed too. Then they left. Nari stopped the bleeding and got Kyung Min to the medical bay. The wound was bad. Without proper treatment, he might lose his arm. She sent an emergency message to the nearest station. They told her to wait for an available medical team. It could take up to a week. Kyung Min lay in the medical bay, sweating with pain, while Nari pushed the ship's engines as fast as they could go. Every hour she checked on him. Every hour he looked worse. "I'm sorry," she whispered when he was unconscious. "I'm so sorry we have to live like this." They reached a human medical station before the week was over. Human doctors saved Kyung Min's arm. He would recover. But the look in his eyes had changed. Nari knew that look. She saw it in the mirror every day. It was the look of someone who was tired of being kind. Nari filed a complaint about the attack. She had footage from the ship's cameras. She had medical records. She had everything needed to prove what happened. The station authorities looked at her evidence. "These things happen in space," they said. "You should have had better security." "We are a cargo ship," Nari said. "We are not allowed to have military-grade weapons. Your laws prohibit it. Then you should avoid dangerous routes. This was a main trade route. It is supposed to be protected." The authorities shrugged. "We'll investigate." "Fill out these forms." Nari filled out the forms. She knew nothing would happen. She had filled out forms before. Other captains had filled out forms. The forms went into files that no one ever read. On New Busan, the Vex soldiers had taken over the colony completely. Most humans had left, but some stayed. Hye-won stayed. Her mother stayed. If they left, everything they had built would be gone. They lived in small shelters at the edge of what used to be their farmland. Every day they watched Vex soldiers destroy a little more. The greenhouses her grandfather built were torn down. The irrigation system her father designed was ripped apart. Hye-won asked the Vex commander why. "If you want this land, why destroy everything?" "Because you are Deathworlders," the commander said. "You do not deserve to build. You only deserve to survive. That is what your kind does best, is it not? Survive." That night, Bora held a meeting with the remaining colonists. "There were 40 of them left. We have to go," Bora said. "If we stay, they will kill us all." "And go where?" an old farmer asked. "This is our home." "We will find another home," Bora said. But her voice was tired. They all knew the truth. Every human colony was in danger. There was no safe place anymore. Young Hye-won stood up. She was only 17, but her voice was strong. "We should fight." "Fight with what?" someone asked. "They have weapons. They have ships. We have farming tools." "We have each other," Hye-won said. "My grandfather used to tell stories about Earth. He said humans survived the ice ages and the plagues and the predators because we fought when we had to." "Why did we stop fighting?" "Because we want to be better than that," Bora said gently. "We want to be civilized. They think civilized means weak," Hye-won said. "Maybe we should show them what Deathworlders really are." The meeting ended without a decision, but Hye-won's words stayed in everyone's mind. Why did we stop fighting? In orbit above the planet, a Galactic Council observation ship finally arrived. They sent down 2 observers to investigate the situation. The observers talked to the Vex commander. They talked to Bora, they took notes. Then they left. Their report said that the situation was complicated and required further study. They recommended both sides try to negotiate peacefully. When Tae-hyun read the report, something inside him finally broke. He had spent 7 years being patient. He had spent 7 years building bridges and following rules and believing that eventually, the galaxy would treat humans fairly. He looked at the photos from New Busan. He looked at the medical reports from Kyungmin's injury. He looked at the file about Sunmi's stolen research. He thought about every insult, every unfair fee, every broken promise. Taehyun sent an encrypted message to Woo Jin. It contained only 2 words. No more. Woo Jin received the message at midnight. He sat in his office and looked at those 2 words for a long time. Then he opened the secret file and pressed the button that activated emergency protocols. All across human space, hidden systems came online. Trade ships received new orders. Colonists opened sealed packages that had been waiting for this moment. Defense stations powered up weapons that had been hidden for decades. The time for being careful was over. The time for being kind was done. The galaxy was about to learn what happened when you pushed Deathworlders too far. The Vex Collective decided that New Busan was not enough. They wanted the entire planet. They had taken colonies from other species before. The Galactic Council always complained but never acted. This would be the same. They sent a full invasion fleet. 20 warships, 15,000 soldiers. Enough to crush any resistance and claim the planet as Vex territory. Bora saw them coming on the colony's sensors. She sent emergency messages everywhere, to Earth, to the Galactic Council, to anyone who would listen. They are coming to take everything, she said in her message. Her face was calm but her hands shook. We are only 40 people. We cannot stop them. Please, someone help us. Hyewan stood next to her mother and held her hand. They both knew help would not come. It never did. The Vex fleet landed. Soldiers surrounded the small shelter where the colonists had gathered. The Vex commander walked up to Bora. He smiled. You should have left when I told you to, he said. This is our home, Bora said. We have legal rights to this land. The commander laughed. Rights? You are Deathworlders. You have no rights. He pulled out a weapon. Before anyone could move, he shot Bora. She fell without making a sound. Hyewan screamed and dropped to her knees beside her mother. Bora was still breathing, but the wound was fatal. They both knew it, Mom, Hyewan whispered. Tears ran down her face. Mom, please. Bora touched her daughter's face. Be strong, she said. Then she died. The Vex commander activated a camera. He wanted everyone to see this. He wanted other Deathworlder colonies to know what happened when they resisted. This is the price of defiance, he said into the camera. This is what happens to Deathworlder scum who think they deserve civilized treatment. He broadcast the message across local channels. It would reach other colonies. It would reach Earth. It would reach the Galactic Council. At the Galactic Council, Taehyun watched the broadcast. He watched Bora die. He watched Hyewan cry over her mother's body. He watched the Vex commander smile. The council chamber was silent. Some representatives looked uncomfortable. Most looked away. No one spoke. Finally, the council leader cleared his throat. This is unfortunate. We will issue a statement expressing concern. We will call for diplomatic solutions. Something cold settled into Taehyun's chest. Not anger, not sadness. Something colder and harder than both. He stood up and removed his ambassador's badge. He placed it on his desk carefully. Then he looked at every representative in the chamber. 150 years, he said quietly. For 150 years we have been patient. We have followed your rules. We have paid your fees. We have endured your insults. We did this because we believed that eventually you would see us as equals. He picked up his tablet and showed them Bora's death. He made them look at it. This is what our patience earned us. This is what our kindness bought us. A mother executed while you watch and do nothing. Ambassador, we understand your distress, but I am not an ambassador anymore. Taehyun said, and you do not understand anything. You called us Deathworlders. You thought it meant we were primitive survivors who got lucky. You forgot what it really means. He walked toward the exit. At the door, he turned back. It means we come from a world that tried to kill us every day. It means we survived because we learned to fight. You mistook our kindness for weakness. You mistook our patience for inability. You are about to learn the difference. He left. Behind him, the council chamber erupted in noise. Some species demanded that Earth be punished for his disrespect. Others stayed quiet. They had seen something in Taehyun's eyes that made them afraid. On Earth, Woo Jin received Taehyun's final message. It was 3 words this time. Let them see. Woo Jin activated the final protocols. Every hidden military ship received orders to mobilize. Every disguised weapon platform powered up. Every colonist who had been secretly trained for combat received their equipment. The Colonial Defense Fleet assembled. It had been hidden for 150 years. Trade ships dropped their cargo shells and revealed military hulls. Mining stations extended weapon arrays. Transport vessels became carriers. In 3 days, humanity's true military strength was visible for the first time. It was massive. Captain Nari stood on the bridge of the horizon's edge. Her ship looked different now. The cargo bays were gone. In their place were missile tubes and railguns. Her crew wore military uniforms that had been waiting in sealed lockers all this time. Kyung-min stood beside her. His arm had healed, but he still wore a brace. He looked at the fleet assembling around them. Over 500 ships. All of them had been hiding as civilian vessels. "How long has this been here?" he asked. "Since the beginning," Nari said. "When we first went to the stars, humans made a choice. We would try peace first. We would be kind and patient. But we would also be ready. Just in case. In case of what? In case the galaxy mistook kindness for weakness." The fleet set course for New Busan. It would take them 2 days to get there. 2 days for the Vex to enjoy their victory. 2 days before everything changed. On New Busan, Hyewan was forced to work in the fields with the other surviving colonists. The Vex used them as slave labor. Every day was the same. Wake up, work until exhausted, sleep in a cage, repeat. She thought about her mother every moment. She thought about Dongmin. She thought about all the humans who had died because the galaxy did not care. A young colonist named Jin-ho worked beside her. He was 16, 1 year younger than Hyewan. His parents had been killed in the first raid. "Why don't we fight?" he whispered while the guards weren't looking. "There are 30 of us. We could die," Hyewan said, "like everyone else who fought." "Better than this," Jin-ho said. Hyewan looked at the red sky. She remembered her mother's last words. "Be strong." But what did strong mean? Did it mean enduring? Or did it mean fighting back even when you knew you would lose? "Soon," she whispered. She did not know why she said it. She just felt it. Something was coming. Something was changing. That night she dreamed of Earth. She had never been there, but her grandfather's stories painted pictures in her mind. A blue world covered in water and green life. A world with storms that could destroy cities. A world with predators that hunted in the dark. A world that killed its own children every day. And yet humans thrived there. Not because they were lucky, because they refused to die. Hyewan woke up and understood something. Humans had not become kind because they were weak. They had become kind because they were strong enough to choose kindness. The galaxy had mistaken that choice for their nature. 2 days later, the sensors detected ships arriving. Lots of ships. The Vex soldiers ran to their positions. They thought maybe the Galactic Council had finally sent peacekeepers. But these were not council ships. Hyewan was in her cage when she heard the first explosions. She looked up and saw human ships filling the sky. Not transport ships. Not cargo vessels, warships. Real warships with weapons that lit up the atmosphere. The Vex fleet tried to fight. They outnumbered the humans 3-1, but numbers did not matter. The human ships moved in ways that should have been impossible. They pulled maneuvers that would kill most species from the force alone. They fought with a precision that came from endless practice. The Battle of New Busan lasted 6 hours. When it ended, the Vex fleet was gone. Not retreated, gone, destroyed completely. Human soldiers landed and freed the colonists. They were professional and efficient. They treated injuries and gave food and asked nothing in return. Hyewan stood in the red dirt and watched them work. These were not the careful, patient humans she had known her whole life. These were soldiers. These were Deathworlders who had stopped being kind. A soldier came to her. He was older, maybe 40, with scars on his face. "Your mother was Bora?" he asked. Hyewan nodded, unable to speak. "She was brave," and the soldier said. "Her message is why we are here. She reminded us who we are." Hyewan started to cry. Not from sadness this time. From relief, from hope, from the understanding that humanity had finally stopped pretending. The soldier put a hand on her shoulder. "We won't let this happen again," he said. "Not to you. Not to anyone. The galaxy is going to learn a new lesson about Deathworlders." Above them, the human fleet regrouped. They had proven something today. Now they would make sure everyone understood. News of the Battle of New Busan spread across the galaxy in hours. Every species saw the footage. A human fleet destroying a Vex armada 3 times its size, ships moving at speeds that should have crushed their crews. Boarding actions where human soldiers fought in ways that made even hardened warriors feel sick. The Galactic Council called an emergency session. Taehyun attended, but he was not sitting in the back anymore. He stood at the center of the chamber, and this time everyone was listening. Earth has committed an act of war, the Corvin representative said. They attacked Vex ships without council authorization. They must be punished. The Vex invaded a human colony, Taehyun said calmly. They executed civilians. They broadcasted it like entertainment. We asked for help. You did nothing. So we helped ourselves. You cannot simply take military action whenever you want, another representative argued. There are laws. There are procedures, Taehyun smiled. It was not a nice smile. You are right. There are laws. The Vex broke them. Where were you then? Where were your procedures when Bora died? Where were your laws when human ships were raided in neutral space? Where were your rules when our research was stolen? He activated a display. It showed everything. Every ignored petition. Every stolen patent. Every unfair fee. Every attack that went unpunished. 150 years of data. We followed your laws, Taehyun said. We trusted your procedures. We believed in your counsel, and you failed us at every turn. Not because you couldn't help, because you didn't care. We were Deathworlders. We didn't matter. The chamber was silent. So here is what happens now, Taehyun continued. The Vex will formally apologize to humanity. They will pay reparations to New Busan. They will withdraw from all human colonies, and the Council will grant humanity full legal equality. No more back row seats, no more last to speak, no more special fees or safety inspections, equal. And if we refuse? The Corvin representative asked. Then humanity withdraws from the Council and closes its space to all traffic. That caused an uproar. Human space sat on 12 major trade routes. Closing them would cost the galaxy trillions of credits. Some species depended on those routes for food and medicine. You cannot do this, someone shouted. It would harm millions of innocent people. Yes, Taehyun said quietly. It would. Just like your inaction harmed us. The difference is we are giving you a choice. We gave you 150 years of chances. Now you get one more. Choose wisely. He left the chamber. The council erupted in chaos behind him. The Vex Collective chose war. They assembled their largest fleet, 500 ships, 30,000 soldiers. They would crush humanity and teach other Deathworlders what happened to species that did not know their place. But the fleet never reached human. Space Dock Captain Nari led a task force that intercepted them 3 days into their journey. The Vex commander laughed when he saw the human ships. There were only 50 of them. They send this to stop us, he said. These Deathworlders are fools. The battle began. The Vex expected to win quickly. Instead, they found themselves fighting an enemy that knew things they did not understand. Human ships used Earth tactics. They used gravity to slingshot around planets and hit from unexpected angles. They used debris fields as cover. They targeted specific systems with frightening accuracy. Every shot counted. Nothing was wasted. The Vex had more ships, but humans had more experience. Earth had oceans that could swallow fleets. Earth had storms that could tear apart cities. Earth had predators that hunted in the dark. Every human learned about strategy from a planet that was always trying to kill them. Nari's ship danced through the Vex formation. Kyungmin called out targets and she hit them perfectly. One shot, one kill. Again and again. Her crew worked like parts of a machine. No wasted movements. No hesitation. Target their command ship, she said. It's in the center of their formation, Kyungmin said. We can't reach it without going through them. Then we go through them. The horizon's edge accelerated. It pulled 8 gravities. Most alien species would have been crushed. Human crews trained their whole lives for this. They wore special suits. They took special medicine. They endured. They punched through the Vex formation and hit the command ship with everything they had. The ship broke apart. The Vex fleet lost coordination. Human ships exploited every mistake. After 12 hours, the Vex fleet retreated. They had lost 200 ships. The humans had lost 8. The surviving Vex commander sent a message to his government. We cannot fight them. They are not like other species. They do not value their own lives. They fight like every battle is their last. We need to negotiate. Across the galaxy, other species watched and learned. Some species who had also suffered under Vex aggression contacted humanity quietly. They shared intelligence. They offered support. They had always wanted to fight back but could never do it alone. Now someone had shown it was possible. A coalition formed. Not officially. Not through the council. Just species helping each other because they were tired of being bullied. They told Wu Jin where the Vex kept their supply depots, where their shipyards were, where their military bases hid. Wu Jin thanked them. Then he sent strike teams to dismantle Vex power piece by piece, not by conquering their worlds, not by killing civilians, by systematically destroying their ability to threaten others. Human ships hit military targets with surgical precision. They destroyed weapon factories. They disabled shipyards. They cut supply lines. Vex military strength melted away like ice in the sun, but human ships never touched civilian areas. They never bombed cities. They never harmed innocents. They fought like professionals, not like conquerors. Why? Asked Jin Ho, the young colonist who now served on Wu Jin's flagship. Why don't we just destroy them completely? They killed your people. They killed my parents. Because we are not them, Wu Jin said. We do not punish the innocent for the crimes of their leaders. We came from a death world, yes, but we also came from a world that taught us the difference between strength and cruelty. They are not the same thing. Within 3 months, the Vex Collective surrendered. Not because they wanted to, because they had no choice. Their military was gone. Their allies had abandoned them. They stood alone. The terms were simple. Formal apology, reparations, withdrawal from occupied territories, and a promise to never threaten human colonies again. They agreed to everything. The Galactic Council watched it all happen. They could not believe it. A species they had dismissed as primitive survivors had just defeated one of the galaxy's most powerful empires. Tai Hyun returned to the council chamber. This time when he entered, representatives stood. Not because they wanted to, because they had to. Humanity accepts the Vex apology, Tai Hyun announced. We are satisfied with the terms of their surrender. Now let us discuss the council's response to our earlier demands. The debate lasted 3 days. Some species argued against human equality. Others argued for it. In the end, it did not matter what they argued. Earth had shown the galaxy what happened when they pushed too far. Earth had proven they could fight. More importantly, they had proven they could win. The vote passed. Humanity received full legal equality, the same rights as any other species. The same voice, the same respect. Taehyun did not celebrate. He simply nodded and took his new seat at the center of the chamber. On New Busan, Hee-won helped rebuild the colony. Human ships brought supplies and workers. The greenhouses her grandfather built were reconstructed, bigger and better than before. The irrigation system her father designed was upgraded with new technology. Jin-ho worked beside her, planting crops in soil mixed with ash. His parents' ashes, Dongmin's ashes, Bora's ashes. They would grow food from this soil. They would build life from death. Do you think it was worth it? Jin-ho asked. All those years of being patient, all those years of taking insults. Hye-won thought about her mother, about her gentle smile and her endless patience, about her belief that diplomacy could solve anything. I think my mother believed kindness could change the galaxy, Hye-won said. Maybe she was right. But first, the galaxy had to learn that kindness was a choice, not a weakness. Above them, human warships patrolled the skies, not hidden anymore, not disguised. Present and visible and ready. The age of careful humanity was over. The age of respected humanity had begun. 6 months after the Battle of New Busan, the galaxy looked different. Trade routes that had avoided human space now flowed through it. Species that had once laughed at human ships now gave them wide berth at stations. The docking fees were fair. The inspections were professional. No one called humans Deathworlders as an insult anymore. Some said it with respect. Others said it with fear. Either way, they said it differently. Captain Nari guided the Horizon's Edge into Station Kepler 22, the same station where she had been harassed for years. The same station where guards had searched her ship for hours and found nothing wrong but charged her anyway. This time was different. Welcome, Captain Nari, the traffic controller said politely. Bay 7 is ready for you. Standard docking procedures, no waiting, no harassment, no triple fees. Kyungmin noticed it too. Feels strange, he said. Being treated normally. This should have been normal all along, Nari said. She docked and opened the cargo bay. 2 guards came to inspect, but they were efficient and respectful. They checked the manifests, scanned a few containers, and approved everything in 30 minutes. "Thank you for your cooperation, Captain," the lead guard said. He was the same Vex who had made her wait for hours all those months ago. He did not meet her eyes. Safe travels. After they left, Nari's crew gathered in the common area. They were running trade goods again, not weapons. But the weapons were still there, hidden but ready. They would always be ready now. "Do you think we went too far?" Kyung-min asked. It was a question he had asked before. Nari looked at her crew. They were merchants. They had spent their lives trading and building relationships. They had never wanted to be soldiers. But the galaxy had made them choose. "We spent 150 years proving we could survive out here," she said. "Now we have proven we belong here. On our terms." Outside the viewport, a Vex military ship changed its course to avoid passing too close to the horizon's edge. 6 months ago, that same ship would have forced Nari to move. Now it moved first. "No," Nari said. "We didn't go too far. We went exactly as far as we needed to." On Earth, Woo-jin sat in his office and reviewed reports. Human colonies were thriving. New settlements were being founded. People who had been afraid to leave Earth now felt safe exploring the stars. But it was not just fear that had changed. Respect had changed too. Other species were requesting human help. A mining colony under attack from pirates called for human military support. A medical emergency on a distant station asked for human doctors. A trade dispute needed human mediators. Humanity had become what they had always wanted to be. Equals. Not superior, not inferior, just equal. Woo-jin received a message from a species called the Pelix. They were a small civilization that had been bullied by larger empires for generations. Now they wanted to form a mutual defense treaty with humanity. "We watched what you did," their leader wrote. "You were strong but not cruel. You defended yourselves but did not conquer. You are what we hoped the Galactic Council would be. Will you help us?" Woo-jin approved the treaty. Then he approved 3 more from other small species. A coalition was forming. Not based on power or threats. Based on mutual respect and shared goals, the galaxy was learning a new lesson. Strength did not have to mean domination. Power did not have to mean cruelty. Deathworlders could be both strong and kind. At the Galactic Council, Tae-hyun worked with other representatives on new trade agreements. He sat at the main table now, not in the back row. When he spoke, people listened. Not because they were afraid, because his ideas were good. The Corvin representative who had once dismissed him approached after a meeting. "I owe you an apology," the Corvin said quietly. "I thought your kindness meant you were weak. I was wrong." "Yes," Tae-hyun said. "You were. Can we start over?" Tae-hyun considered. He could hold the grudge. He could make the Corvin suffer the way humans had suffered. But that would make him no better than the bullies they had fought. "We can try," he said, "but this time treat us as equals from the start." "I will," the Corvin promised. And this time Tae-hyun believed him. On New Busan, the colony had grown. New families arrived from Earth. New buildings rose from the red soil. The memorial to Bora stood in the center of the town square, a reminder of the price they had paid for respect. Hee-won was 18 now. She ran the largest greenhouse on the planet, growing food for 3,000 colonists. Jin-ho worked with her, managing the irrigation systems. They had rebuilt everything. Not just the buildings and farms. They had rebuilt their lives. A transport ship landed one day carrying new colonists. Among them was an old woman who walked slowly with a cane. She approached Hee-won with tears in her eyes. "You are Bora's daughter," the old woman said. It was not a question. "Yes," Hee-won said. "Did you know my mother?" "I worked with her on Earth before she came here. She was my friend. I heard what happened. I came to help finish what she started." Hee-won hugged the old woman and cried. She had thought her mother's dream had died with her. But dreams do not die. They live in the people who remember them. More people came. People who had known Bora. People who had heard her story. People who wanted to build the kind of galaxy she had believed in. A galaxy where kindness mattered. Where strength protected instead of dominated. Where different species helped each other instead of competing. The colony grew, not just in size but in purpose. New Busan became a symbol. A place where humanity had drawn a line and said, "Enough." Sunmi visited the colony to set up a medical clinic. Her cellular decay treatment was now used across the galaxy. The Corvin company that had stolen it had been forced to give her credit and pay her royalties. She used the money to build free clinics on human colonies. Your mother would be proud, Sunmi told Hee-won. She wanted humans to be respected. Now we are. She also wanted us to be kind, Hee-won said. Are we still kind? Sunmi smiled. We are building hospitals. We are sharing medicine. We are helping species weaker than us. Yes, we are still kind. We just make sure no one mistakes it for weakness anymore. That night, Hee-won stood under the stars and thought about everything that had changed. The galaxy had pushed humanity too far. They had mistaken patience for cowardice. They had mistaken kindness for inability. They had learned the truth the hard way. Deathworlders were called that for a reason. They came from a world that tried to kill them every day. They survived not through luck but through strength and adaptability and refusal to give up. When they chose to be kind, it was a choice. When they chose to be patient, it was strategy. When they chose to fight, they fought like the predators Earth had made them. A year after the Battle of New Busan, the Galactic Council established a new holiday. They called it Unity Day. It celebrated the day humanity had stood up and reminded the galaxy what respect meant. Tai Hyun spoke at the first celebration. Representatives from 200 species attended. Some came because they supported humanity. Others came because they feared what would happen if they did not. Taehyun did not care why they came, only that they came. 150 years ago, humans joined the galactic community with hope, he said. We hoped for friendship. We hoped for cooperation. We hoped for respect. For most of that time, we did not receive it, but we never stopped hoping. We never stopped working toward that better galaxy. He paused and looked at every representative. What changed was not our hope. What changed was our willingness to enforce our own respect. We learned that sometimes you must fight for peace. Sometimes you must be strong to be kind. Sometimes you must show your teeth to make others see your smile. The galaxy is better now. Not because we conquered anyone. Not because we threatened anyone. But because we refuse to be victims anymore. We are Deathworlders. We survive. We adapt, we thrive. And now finally we are respected. The representatives stood and applauded. Not everyone was happy about the changes. But everyone understood them. Back on the horizon's edge, Nari received a message from Wu Jin. It contained new orders, not military orders. Trade orders. Regular, boring, normal trade orders. We are back to being merchants, she told her crew. No more battles. Just honest work. But we keep the weapons, Kyungmin said. We keep the weapons, Nari agreed. Always. The ship left station Kepler 22 and headed toward the next destination. Behind them, the galaxy continued its new normal. Trade flowing fairly, laws applied equally, respect given freely. Humanity had stopped being careful. They had stopped being endlessly patient. They had stopped pretending that kindness alone was enough. But they had not stopped being human. They still built. They still created. They still helped those who needed it. They were still kind to those who deserved it. They had simply made sure the galaxy understood one truth. Deathworlders earned their name. And when Deathworlders had enough, when they stopped being kind, the galaxy learned to treat them better, not through fear alone, through respect. And that respect had been 150 years in the making.